Motorcade is leaving the police headquarters. The president arrived in New York at JFK earlier this afternoon and then headed with his motorcade to the New York Police Department headquarters in Lower Manhattan. We are waiting for him where he met with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, New York Governor Kathy Hochul, Congresswoman, Queen's Congresswoman Grace May, along with other elected officials for a meeting to talk about what his administration is doing regarding curbing gun violence and gun trafficking and other crimes. The president also announced new initiatives that his administration, including providing additional funding to boost the police department in New York City and also around the nation. While we're waiting here, you could hear like some protesters are here that are protesting against the president. After President Biden leaves the police headquarters, he will be heading to a New York public school in Queens, where he will meet with local community leaders to again talk about his administration initiative for the community and also to help curb violence and other crime in community around New York as well as across the nation. It's a rainy day in New York. The president's visit comes on the heels of the wait for one of the NYPD officer, William Wilbert Morale. There was a wait for him yesterday. The police officer and his partner were shot in the line of duty during a visit for a domestic call. Some of the officers and elected officials that attended the meeting. Also the U.S. Attorney General Eric Garland also attended the meeting with the president today, including New York City Attorney General Latisha James was also present at the meeting that the president held at the police plaza this afternoon. Waiting for President Joe Biden's departure from the police headquarters in Lower Manhattan at One Plaza. The president, after his departure here, will be heading to Queens to a public school in Queens, where he will also meet with local community leaders and officials to again talk about what his administration is doing regarding curbing gun violence and also supporting the community regarding stopping crime and violence in the community in New York City as well as across the nation. This is the president's fourth visit to the city. As I said earlier on, his visit came on the heels a day after yesterday there was a wake for one of the police officers that was shot during a routine call to answer for a domestic violence dispute. And there was a wake that was held for him yesterday at St. Patrick Cathedral in Manhattan, where thousands of police officers from across the nation came to pay their respect and tribute, their final tribute to the fallen hero. Again, we expect the president, you can see the motorcade, we expect him to leave anytime soon. There are a group of New Yorkers that have gathered around here and waiting to see the president, and there are some of the protesting here, as you can hear in the background. Some of the protesting on the president's visit to New York City. The president is now leaving. Those are the bicycles. You can see the presidential motorcade coming through the police plaza. Now the president of the United States. Is now leaving also, heading to the second stop for the president. We'll be heading here. Thank you for waiting patiently. You are here, you just saw the president. Why did you come here? Why did you wait here to see?
Well, I work in the area. I had stepped out to lunch, and I know he's in the area, so I was happy to be here just to support the reasons why he came to New York. The whole idea about gun violence, it's very important to me.
Why? Why is it very important to you?
I've lived in the United States for over 2 decades, and I've lived in New York City all my life, and I've seen the volumes of gun violence that we go through every year in this country, and the innocent lives that are lost. So I believe that any administration that has the interest to talk about this long conversation, it would be good for me to hear what his approach is.
You are originally from
Ghana.
From Ghana.
Yes.
So you've been living in the city for over 2 decades, as you said. We have a new mayor now, Mayor Eric Adams.
Yes.
And what do you? I know, like there's been recent shootings last month with police officers being killed. Do you think what the mayor is doing so far? He's still new at the job.
Yes.
But do you think what he's doing so far is good regarding his effort? He used to be a police officer also.
Yes.
So do you think what he's doing, responding to what is going on in the city, do you think it's good so far? And what if any recommendation do you have for him?
So, Mayor Eric Adams has just come on board, and we give our support to him. Being a former cop, I believe that the issues about crimes in New York and gun issues and all other things that happens in New York is important to him. So yes, I feel like he is on a good start, and I think that he will, in his leadership, he should work more, with communities also, and also with mental health issues and gun controls and background checks. Those will all be contributing factors that will help him, because New York has suffered its share of gun violence, and I think this is the time.
We were talking, thank you. We were talking earlier also, you are from Ghana, West Africa. There's an incident that happened last month in Harlem, in the Bronx actually, regarding African from Gambia that died in the fire. Housing is another major issue in the city. What do you think with the mayor and also the president? There is a lot of new initiatives that the AHUD, the U.S. Department of Urban Housing and Urban Development are doing to put more investment into affordable housing. What do you think in terms of what the president, his administration is doing regarding housing, providing affordable housing, and how the response also to what the African community, the diaspora suffered? We lost more than 12 people, young children that passed away.
So my heart goes out to the families. I feel like it's all of us, and looking at those pictures and those children and families that we lost, I feel like my own family. It's really, really sad. Here in New York City, housing has been a long-term conversation. It's affordable housing is kind of exists on paper, but it's really hard to find places that you can afford. These families lived in high-rise apartments, and I feel that the building violations with that particular building is an issue, because when it comes to fire safety, there was an issue about the door was supposed to close by itself and things like that. So the Department of Buildings and the housing communities should definitely look into those things. And I think there should also be more education about fire safety. When you look at the case critically, in any given situation, when something happens, you kind of forget everything that you know. But I think that our communities also need more education about fire safety. And the thing about heat, being able, using space heaters and those things, I'm not in support of that, because we've had so many records of accidents and fires happening because of those things. So there should be more regulation on that. There should be education about fire safety. Affordable housing is a work in progress. And I hope that New York comes to the point where, we can all look at our rents and say that this is affordable. But my heart really goes out to the families. I'm very saddened. I was very saddened, when I saw that on the news, and even with officers that we just lost, it's like this whole year is a lot of sadness. As a mom, I feel like some of these things happen, and I imagine myself in the shoes of these families. It's really sad. But our communities also need to invest a lot in some kind of bringing education to our communities and our people, the African communities, whether it is your village as a community or your neighborhood. But we need to definitely invest a lot into education and also providing collective support for ourselves. I feel like the African communities are united. This is close to Chinatown. The Chinese have a very big community. Even in the Muslims, they have a very big community where there's a merge between the African Muslims, and the Harlem has a big community of American organizations that are Muslim organizations. So I feel like Africa as a whole, we really need to come together so we can have a representation and a voice, and we can uniquely represent our people as a country.
Are you happy with the new revitalizing the relationship with Africa compared to the previous administration?
Yes.
So you are happy with the engagement of the Biden administration all across the country?
Yes, I'm very happy with that, but I also believe that Africa should be prepared for the Western exposure, and also, to be ready to be receptive of the Western life, where we go to places and there is security and there is protection, and that people feel safe to go there and live here, and like healthcare is something that I have always seen as something.
The African government should invest.
They should invest in that. There's no emergency care. If somebody is sick, by the time the ambulance gets there, it's a lot of traffic. The person is dead. The medical supplies are not there. All those bigger conversations that we can have.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy your lunch.
Yes. I work across the street, and I was just going to pick up my lunch, and I got caught up with this.
You get to see the motorcade of the president, which is a good thing with the lunch, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.